Alright people, I've let this story simmer for a couple of days now so we can see what the hell is going on. And by that I mean we can get more questions than answers, as is usually the case with a cycle as cantankerous as this one. So former President Trump appears to keep dodging bullets like he's Neo or some shit. We live in a very strange time where a former president dodging metal has all the surprise and temporary outrage of a vegan finding out that other animals also eat each other. Now keep in mind, a lot of this is somewhat fresh off the internet. It's not real life, it may just be a fantasy, and we best believe in bugger all. The would-be shooting took place at Trump's golf course, and according to sources, says CNN, which means it's a crapshoot whether or not it's complete bollocks, that the golf course outing was a last-minute decision, and apparently only a few private people knew about the whole thing. Which begs the question, how the hell did the person know Trump's plans and whereabouts? This reeks of security leaks at the very least. Now, according to J.D. Vance on the Twitter, the gunman waited in the bushes and bought a GoPro to record it, but was foiled by Secret Service, for once, after they spotted the barrel through a fence and a shot fired caused him to flee. But speaking of something else that reeks, this is the shooter, a one Ryan Routh, who naturally has since been suspended on the Twitter. I wonder why. Now, a couple of things here. We're all familiar with the phrase, never judge a book by its cover, except when you do hear it becomes apparent very quickly your gut reaction is the correct one, seeing as this dude glows harder than Ray Epps' shag in an open plug socket. One look at the dwelling, the Kamala Harris bumper sticker, and the fact that he donated to Act Blue 19 times, all the whilst listed as being unemployed, would lead one to a radical conclusion, quite rapidly. And then things get even weirder. Like the previous would-be shooter, this one also featured in a commercial supposedly funded by the Rock of the Black variety. This one featuring the Ukraine struggle, which this dude was apparently heavily invested in, for whatever reason. I say supposedly because apparently it was not directed by them. The commercial was for the Avars Battalion, which, considering how much of the financial firm's fingerprints are all over that region, it's very much like saying, well, Raytheon doesn't directly get involved in Congress. No. It just happens to grease the palms of every politician that goes into it. He was also featured in Newsweek 2 years ago, as well as clips of him saying the following.
I don't care if you do paper or not. I'm looking for revolutionaries. I'm looking for people who want to take this whole system down.
Now keep in mind, in that Newsweek interview, he admitted to being a 56-year-old man wanting to serve in the Ukrainian military. We also learn he was from North Carolina, living in Hawaii, when he was asked what he is doing in Europe. Again, the records show him being unemployed when he donated to Act Blue some 4 years ago, and here he is at a train station on the border of Poland and Ukraine back in April of 2022, 2 years later, and featured here with Biden-Kamala Harris appointee and known suffering of the TDS variety, Jose Andreas, or this post claiming he is in DC and Kiev to provide soldiers for the war effort. Apparently, he was trying to recruit, maybe even smuggle Afghan soldiers escaping the Taliban. No one wants to ask who the hell is funding this heavily propagandized individual, because I imagine the answer to those questions might offer a lot of insight here. Now, it couldn't possibly be because, I don't know, someone is trying to get access to Ukrainian resources to sell them. Maybe someone that owns companies that sell those resources. Who the hell knows? Might those companies have the eyes and ears of a certain government who continues to throw money into a meat grinder that is the conflict in Eastern Europe? Who the hell knows? And of course, the media does their bit by gaslighting the public so excessively you would swear it was a crime against humanity. The suspect arrested in relation to the shooting at Trump's golf course in Florida on Sunday has been identified as Ryan Routh, a 58-year-old with unclear political ideology, a criminal record, and a rather extensive one at that, and a history of praising Iran and supporting Ukraine. It's not even the gaslighting or the disingenuousness that bugs me. No, frankly, it is the lazy levels of stupidity that irk my bollocks. Trump at the Iranian General Iced was presented as a Putin stooge and puppet since, 2016? Meanwhile, the pleb in question donated to Act Blue roughly 19 times and has a Biden-Harris sticker on his car and tried to take a pop at the former Republican president. Which, by the way, he's a felon. How does he have access to firearms? And why the hell can he vote? And in 2 states at that? Anyone got an answer? How should I feel about you writing this kind of ass? That you think I'm that stupid that I would buy this? Or perhaps that you are that stupid and your mere existence should instill some feeling of demoralization? Or personally, my ego growing larger when I realize I am leagues above most of the people who write for the mainstream press. Then again, that is not exactly a challenge. Hell, my morning farts are a symphony of intellectualism compared to the sludge cranked up at the New York fucking Times. And if it isn't them, it is the mid-range of midwits that call themselves content creators, like Destiny and Dev, or as I like to call them, Dumb and Dumber. Sean, who wrote, "So true, the Democrats say nothing to goad people into trying to assassinate the second coming of Hitler, who will end democracy and is the puppet of Putin." Yeah, because posts like this are definitely not incendiary at all, no, or the numerous calls of cringe of him being a threat to our democracy. God, I wish he was. I wish Trump was remotely as base as his enemies make him out to be. With Destiny replying, "So far both shooters have been Republican, yet both are the fault of Democrats. Conservatives will never take any accountability for their actions. Don't ever forget it." That doesn't make any sense, you dillweed. First off, you're lying, they most certainly are not. And secondly, the rhetoric is pushed by the Democrats and you were the one upset the first shooter missed. Now you claim the conservatives need to take accountability? For what? Again, absolute wanker. And of course, Dev, not to be outdone, replying to someone of a similar mindset, "Trump absolutely uses the rhetoric of a dictator, and he is plenty responsible for turning up the heat." How? And notice my glorious ratio over there. Two questions I would like to ask. First off, do tell Canadian, what exactly is the appropriate response to people calling you an idiot who doesn't know what the hell he is doing, yet also a grand fascistic mastermind that is going to end the entire republic and tear up the Constitution like some kind of radical Chad? And secondly, what exactly do you think an apparently dictatorial god emperor like Trump would actually do with that kind of power? Oh wait, he's never going to answer that. It's no wonder the entire chat was mocking him on Arch when I left just before he came on. Oh, and hello to everyone who was there. Now, with all of that being said, the weirdest thing about all of this that I keep going back to is what exactly is the regime actually trying to pull off here? Because the strategy seems to be propagandize and gaslight the population into some form of psychosis and lax the Secret Service security detail, hoping that someone is mad enough to try and take a pop at the former president. Considering the amount of coordination involved in all the other things the regime is trying to do, ask Ohio for example, the lack of urgency in this, there's almost like this Dick Dastardly level of clumsiness to all of this that actually makes me very confused. I asked my friend Scrump about it, and he explained it like this. The current elite who inherited the regime haven't the first clue how to run anything. It wasn't built by them. They essentially have a finite amount of power capital, and all of it has basically gone into security. They know it's going to collapse. They don't care. Their ultimate goal is simply to die not poor and before the system faces total failure. And that's it. I honestly don't know if that's good or bad, but yeah, there we go. Cheers for watching, and once again, I apologize for nothing.